going off of past projects, with the revival of Batman Beyond, with the comics is now monthly starting January. Revisiting that anytime soon, especially with the re-release of the DVD set coming out.
Weirdly enough, the possibility of revisiting the Batman Beyond world has come up in conversation. I don't know that it would ever come back as a series or maybe even a full-length movie, but there is something about that world that intrigues us. So that's all I can say. There's nothing definite in the works, but it does come up in conversation quite often.
Were you involved in the comics at all?
No.
I think it's important that fans are big like these
Go ahead.
shorts. They go out and
I noticed that Lauren Montgomery did a Wonder Woman movie, and then she just did the Superman Batman, which was actually more Supergirl centered.
Right.
Is there a way that you pick which director goes with what? I mean, it can't be as simple as she's a girl and it's a girl movie. So
Why not? Actually, that's mostly her choice.
She picks the
She's my number one choice to direct any of these because I think she's just amazingly talented. And, so she always gets the right of first refusal on any of these properties. If it does happen to feature a female superhero, she gets way more excited about it than having to do another movie with a bunch of guys in spandex. So that's probably why, I mean, she was really excited to do the Wonder Woman thing, and she was excited to do the Supergirl thing. So, yeah, about the only male superhero that gets her fired up is Aquaman. So.
Can you have her do an Aquaman movie? Because that would be fantastic.
I would love that. I would love that.
She mentioned on her blog how she wanted to do a Batgirl Year One movie, and that didn't quite happen.
No. Well, it's on one hand I think it's a shame. On the other hand, I can completely understand it. Traditionally, female superheroes have not sold as well as male superheroes. So when you're investing this much money in a movie, the home video people they want to feel pretty confident they're going to get a return on their investment. Which is not to say that that they're right that a Batgirl movie wouldn't sell well, but to them it's not as obvious a moneymaker as a Batman movie. Again, this could all change. All it takes is some brilliant person out there to do a female superhero movie, live action movie that makes zillions and zillions and zillions of dollars, and then suddenly, we'll be doing it. I can guarantee. So, but like I said, it hasn't happened yet. So.
At the end of the day, for any
We'll
of this
see.
stuff,
Keep fingers crossed.
even for the younger stuff.
You guys,
all the
no, go ahead.
artists
That's
are all-
okay.
just sort of
In regard to the shorts, are you guys planning to keep on doing them? They seem to be rather successful and popular.
We would love to do more of them. We're basically waiting right now to see, because we're going to put out a compilation DVD that has all of the shorts plus the new one, the Superman Shazam, which will be all new to that DVD. We're waiting to see how that sells, and if that sells well, then we'll definitely go back and do some more. In anticipation of that, we've already got 4 other scripts lined up, ready to go, so we could put those into production at a moment's notice. So, keep your fingers crossed.
The sexual performances of
You guys have been bouncing back and forth sort of between origin stories and like the greatest hits of the DC universe, like with Apocalypse and also Superman. How do you decide what your next film is going to be?
There's no formula. It's pretty kind of random sometimes. We'll just be sitting around we have a weekly conference call with home video and with DC Comics, and we talk about things that are already in production, and we think, okay, well, coming up after that, we're going to need a couple more movies for, say, 2013, and we look back on what we've done recently, and we talk about what do we need to do to keep things fresh and change things up. So it's just a general brainstorming thing. We'll say, well, what about this story from the comics, or what about that one, or maybe we should, if we're going to do another Batman movie, what should we do that hasn't been done recently? What villains should we face, or what can we do to make the Batman movie a little bit more special than the ones we've done? So it's just a lot of throwing ideas around. It's great when we find a comic book property that totally fits the bill, like Batman Year One. And if not, if there isn't something that kind of strikes our fancy, then sometimes we'll go back and just come up with an original story. So it's like I said, it's not really a formula. It's pretty, like I said, it can feel pretty random sometimes.
So look it up. It's
Yeah, speaking about the conference call with DC Comics and home video, there's been a lot of change lately in management and stuff in DC Entertainment. How has that affected your work at Warner Brothers since you've been there for so long?
It has not affected us a lot yet. The biggest change is since last year, since Jeff Johns has become the creative director at DC. He's been working a lot more closely with us on all the different projects. And he's just been great. It hasn't really, there has not been any road bumps or hiccups in the way. He generally likes all the stuff we're doing. All of his notes are usually really, exactly, the kinds of notes we need that are helpful. He'll come up with a lot of really neat ideas that we wouldn't necessarily have thought of on our own. So it's all been great.
Has he been prodding at all for more Green Lantern and stuff?
That's just serendipity. The fact that the Green Lantern movie came up at the same time that we were going to be talking about doing the CG series and everything, it wasn't anything he pushed for. It was just, the stars were in alignment. So.
Last time you were in town for the Wonder Woman premiere, you and I talked about the possibility of branching out into Vertigo titles. Has there been any progress made on that front, or has it kind of receded again?
It's a tricky subject because on one hand we would love to branch out into the Vertigo titles. There was one property in particular that we were kind of really gung-ho about. We actually commissioned a script which was excellent and pretty scary and pretty hardcore and pretty R-rated. The thing that tripped that up was a rights issue. It wasn't anything to do with money or getting the green light. Everybody wanted to do it, and it's a complicated legal thing. So that's sitting on the shelf at the moment. We're hoping we can get that untangled, and then we can announce that soon. But we'll see. Yeah, that's all I can say about Vertigo at the moment.
So slightly.
Yeah. We want to do it.
Here, two more questions, then I'm going to bring Michael over. We got two more questions over here.
Can I ask a question about Superman, Batman, Apocalypse?
Sure.
You brought back a lot of the Justice League Unlimited alumni to voice their characters, but well, I can understand why you didn't want to bring back Nicole Thomas Supergirl.
Why? Why do you say that?
Well, because this is a new Supergirl, so new voice.
I was gonna say you weren't slamming Nicole, were you?
No.
Okay, good.
Oh no, I love Nicole Thomas.
Okay, good.
But why did Michael Ironside have a conflict? Was there a reason why you brought in Andre Braugher?
No, basically, when we do bring Kevin and Tim in to do voices, our wonderful publicity people, they weigh in and say, well, it's great, we love Kevin and we love Tim, but we need to have some stunt casting to help out getting like publicity in terms of like media exposure in magazines and stuff. So we always like to look at some of the other major supporting characters as parts that we can stunt cast with higher profile actors. So yeah, I mean the best of all worlds. I would have been perfectly happy to have just used Nicole Tom and Michael Ironside. But at the same time, I was delighted to work with Summer Glau and Andre Braugher. So.
Are there any DC characters left that you want to work on?
I'm sure there's tons. And again, the stuff that I think is cool is not necessarily the stuff that moms who impulse buy at Target will think is cool. So, but you never know. I mean, maybe for showcase shorts and stuff, I'll be able to get some of my other favorite characters in there.